A flashlight fell to the ground. The girl quickly turned the beam in another direction. The next second, the flashlight was picked up, but the thug didn't notice at all that there was another girl hiding under the bed. But another thug seemed to notice something. He turned on the light and walked over to the bed. Bejia held her breath in fear. Even her toes tensed up. But luckily, the thug's attention was all on the bed, and the man lying on the bed was their boss. Turns out when they broke in earlier in the dark, Bejia's boyfriend heard the noise. He grabbed a baseball bat and knocked the boss down the stairs with one swing. But even more coincidentally, the boss crashed into a glass ornament. A shard of glass went straight into his kidney. Furious, the thugs beat Bejia's boyfriend badly, then threw him into the next room. Hearing the commotion, Bejia hid under the bed in fear. That's how she wasn't found. Thinking about her reckless boyfriend, Bejia shed helpless tears, but realizing tears hitting the floor would make noise, she quickly closed her eyes and forced the tears back. The boss, who was stabbed by the glass, was now lying on the bed bleeding non-stop.
He needs a doctor.
That suggestion was immediately rejected by his accomplices. They had just kidnapped this family. This was the perfect time to rob them. Going to the hospital would expose them. Thinking about the blood trail on the stairs, the boss immediately sent someone down to clean it up. Hearing this, Bejia felt her chance had come, but the second thug unexpectedly came back. He worried the boss couldn't take the pain, so he went online to find a way to stop the bleeding. But accidentally, he knocked Bejia's bag onto the floor. Seeing the phone sticking out, Bejia saw a glimmer of hope. She noticed the second thug was focused on the computer, so she reached out with a stick from under the bed to hook the bag, but just as she hooked the strap, it got stuck halfway. Seeing the second thug still staring at the computer, Bejia made a bold decision. She stuck her head out, planning to pull the bag over. Bejia shrank back under the bed in fright. Although she wasn't discovered, her heart was pounding. If she could turn back time, she would never have snuck over to see her boyfriend tonight. Bejia used to be a poor girl, and when her boyfriend saw her struggling, he helped her brother get a job. Bejia was deeply moved, so she came to thank him in person, but ended up running into this disaster. What worried her even more was that under the bed was no longer safe. The quick bleeding control method the second thug found was to keep the kidney below heart level, so he called someone over to lift the end of the bed and put books underneath. But once the bed was lifted, Bejia was exposed.
1, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Wait. The wife. She's a doctor.
Bejia finally breathed a sigh of relief. She quickly took out her phone and typed a rescue message, but before she could send it, the phone died and shut off. Bejia was desperate again. Just then, her boyfriend's mother was brought in. Although she was a doctor, facing thugs, who would still be in the mood to save lives. In her nervousness, she dropped something on the floor, but when she bent down to pick it up, she happened to see Bejia under the bed. The moment their eyes met, they both understood the situation. Although her boyfriend's mother didn't like poor Bejia, right now, only Bejia could save them.
I need boiling water and towels cut into strips. Now.
To cover for Bejia, her boyfriend's mother deliberately dragged things out until morning to stop the bleeding. But before the blood pressure stabilized, she pulled the glass out of the boss's kidney and explained this was the best treatment for now. Then she pressed a towel hard against the wound. The boss was in so much pain, he couldn't even groan, and when the glass was pulled out, he clearly felt his kidney got poked again. That was exactly her intention, because she wanted to cause internal bleeding. It wouldn't take long before he would be gone. She hoped Bejia could seize this sliver of hope. Then her boyfriend's mother had her hands tied and was thrown into another room. But just then, her boyfriend's father was dragged in. The thugs even put a tie on him, planning to take him to rob a bank. Because her boyfriend's father was the bank manager and could open the vault with facial recognition, Bejia stayed under the bed, waiting until the boss was motionless before daring to crawl out. But just then, the woman accidentally slipped and fell straight into a swamp. Panicked, she quickly called out to her husband in front of her. When the husband saw it, he immediately told her to stay calm, then found a stick in the grass and hurriedly handed it over, trying to pull her out. But unexpectedly, because he was too anxious, the stick turned out to be a brittle branch. As soon as the woman pulled slightly, the stick snapped right in half. So the husband had to calm her down first, then went back to search in the nearby grass. But since the woman was entangled in weeds, she instinctively tried to break free and completely forgot what her husband said. After struggling for a while, she not only failed to escape, but ended up sinking completely into the swamp. Seeing this, the husband jumped in without hesitation. He didn't dare delay, and frantically searched in the swamp. Luckily, he finally grabbed her body, then used all his strength, and successfully pulled his wife out. Facing his still panicked wife, he gently comforted her to stay calm, and reminded her again not to move around, otherwise they would both be swallowed by the swamp. After learning from what just happened, the woman finally listened to her husband, and gradually calmed herself down. But just then, she suddenly felt something under the swamp. The discovery instantly made her nervous again. Luckily her husband reassured her, and she decided to help him pull it out to see what it was. But once the thing was dragged out, it gave them both a huge scare. Turned out it was the corpse of a victim. The man looked at the face of the body, and quickly figured out the person had starved to death. Hearing that, the wife was almost scared to tears, as if seeing her own fate, but the man saw it as hope, and asked his wife to help, so they could check the body's belongings, praying they'd find something to help them survive. But disappointingly, aside from a shotgun and a backpack, there was nothing else useful. Disappointed, the man took his wife's advice, and sank the corpse back into the swamp. Then he checked the backpack. Inside were basic survival supplies. It looked like the person was a hunter, but due to soaking in the swamp for so long, everything had lost its original use. Only the shotgun still had 2 bullets left. The man calmly analyzed their situation. In this remote forest, waiting for someone to rescue them was almost impossible. They had to find a way to save themselves, so they used a small knife they found to cut the backpack into strips, then tied all the strips together and looped them around a rock behind the man. Only then could they escape. But frustratingly, even though the woman tried her best, she always came up just a little short of the rock. The man had no other ideas. He could only imagine someone coming to help, but he knew in his heart it was just something to comfort his wife. Just as they were both in despair, the woman suddenly saw a plane overhead. She quickly told her husband in excitement. They raised their hands and shouted for help as loud as they could, but their voices couldn't be heard at all, and the thick forest blocked them from view. There was no way they'd be spotted. Seeing the plane flying away, the wife quickly tried to light a fire to get attention, but the lighter wouldn't spark no matter what, and they didn't have anything dry to burn anyway. The woman refused to give up and tried several times, but even after the plane was gone she still failed. The one glimmer of hope slipped right through their fingers, and they fell into despair again. Now the only thing they could do was stay put and hope for a miracle. But unexpectedly, the woman suddenly noticed a venomous snake behind her husband. It was slowly slithering toward them.